Namaste, Narad.
San, how are you?
I'm well. How are you?
Okay, much better.
That's great.
So I have us on King of the Soul,
Page,
beginning with the word humility seemed now too proud a state. It's page five.
yes, 522. Yes.
Anytime.
Herself was nothing. God alone was all. Yet God she knew not, but only knew he was.
A very, very interesting two lines. She knows that she is nothing, herself is nothing, and she knows also that God is everything. But although she's Savitri, she doesn't know who he is.
God. Yeah. Hmm.
Yeah, yeah.
A
So,
sacred darkness brooded now within. The world was a deep darkness, great and nude.
yes, so it is a sacred darkness, though. It's not the darkness that at the beginning of Savitri, where there's no creation yet, there's all darkness. This is a sacred darkness, and it brooded it. We've talked about the hen brooding over its chicks, brooded now within Savitri. And therefore the world was a deep darkness, great and nude. Now he's going to tell us more about what she's experiencing.
This void held more than all the teeming worlds. This blank felt more than all that time has borne. This dark knew dumbly, immensely, the unknown.
Yeah, I heard the stark.
Okay. This dark
Yeah,
knew dumbly,
right.
immensely, the unknown.
And you
But
dropped your voice on
on what?
born, the second line. It's
Yes.
not a full stop or a semicolon. This blank felt more than all that time has borne. So you can just soften it a little bit.
Hmm. Okay, I'll read the 4 lines.
Good. Very good.
This void held more than all the teeming worlds. This blank felt more than all that time has borne. This dark knew dumbly, immensely, the unknown. But all was formless, voiceless, infinite.
Okay. And then it begins again, as might a shadow.
As might a shadow walk in a shadowy scene, a small knot passing through a mightier knot, a night of person in a bare outline, crossing a fathomless, impersonal night. Silent she moved, empty and absolute.
Oh, so we have to go through this carefully. As might a shadow walk in a shadowy scene. Imagine that. Can you picture that as a painting?
Yes.
A small knot, a small non existence, a small nothingness. The recognized spelling today is naught, N-A-U-G-H-T.
Mm.
But Sri Aurobindo uses both spellings in Savitri. And you can see because the time period in which he wrote Savitri was so vast, so vast. And so in the beginning, perhaps he wrote Nought and later changed to NA. A night of person in a bare outline. It's an almost non existence of a darkness of person, crossing a fathomless, impersonal night. Now, in his letters on yoga, he says, in the way that one treads with the greater light above, even every difficulty gives its help and has its value, and night itself carries in it the burden of the light that has to be. We have to think about that always when we think about what's happening in the world,
Mm.
not get too deeply into the darkness, because it's true that the light is there. So silent she moved, empty and absolute. Here it is a simple absolute. It is not the absolute that Sri Aurobindo usually speaks to us using a capital A. So the dictionary gives us many, many definitions of absolute. So she is free from all imperfection or deficiency. She's complete. She is existing alone. She is independent. She is not dependent upon external circumstances for existence or for its specific nature, size, etc. So here she's silent, she moves in silence, she's empty and absolute.
In endless time, her soul reached a wide end. The spaceless vast became her spirit's place.
He doesn't tell us that she is there yet. He
Mm.
says her soul reached a wide end, and the spaceless vast became her spirit's place. Now, in the next lines, if I look at my dictionary, my uh, lexicon, or actually the description that um, English literature gives us these days, we would have a comma after last, and we'd have a semicolon after within. Interesting, huh?
Yeah, I see what you mean.
Yeah, read that now, please. At last.
At last, a change approached. The emptiness broke. A wave rippled within. The world had stirred. Once more, her inner self became her space.
So, if we look at it poetically, constructively, there's no need for a comma after last. At last, a change approached. The emptiness broke. So you see, Sri Aurobindo has written his own English, as many say. He has created a new English.
Mm.
So this wave rippled within, and the world had stirred. Once more, her inner self became her space. So now we see that her inner self has become her space.
There was felt a blissful nearness to the goal. Heaven leaned low to kiss the sacred hill. The air trembled with passion and delight.
I don't have a definition from anyone of the sacred hill, but I believe it's her brow or her head.
Mm. Okay.
The air trembled with passion and delight. And now this majestically poetic series of lines.
A rose of splendor on a tree of dreams, the face of dawn out of mooned twilight grew.
And we see how Sri Aurobindo loves the word moon.
Mm.
He uses it so often. So the face of dawn, capital D, huh?
Mm.
Out of a mooned twilight grew, and this rose of splendor on a tree of dreams. So the dawn is the rose of splendor on a tree of dreams, and it's coming out of a moon, it's growing out of a mooned twilight. So now the next part is that day comes.
Day came, priest of a sacrifice of joy, into the worshipping silence of her world. He carried immortal luster as his robe, trailed heaven like a purple scarf, and wore as his vermilion caste mark a red sun.
Yeah, it's a red sun is his vermilion cast mark. A little challenging line. Okay, so we have day coming, and day is a priest of a sacrifice of joy, and it comes into this silence, this worshiping silence of Savitri's world. Coming, he carried sent a long message. Immortal luster as his robe, trailed heaven like a purple scarf, and wore as his vermilion caste mark a red sun. Vermilion, of course, is a bright, bright, brilliant scarlet red.
As if an old remembered dream come true, she recognized in her prophetic mind the imperishable luster of that sky, the tremulous sweetness of that happy air, and covered from mind's view and life's approach, the mystic cavern in the sacred hill, and knew the dwelling of her secret soul.
Now, I do have a couple of things to share from our friends. So we can begin with the mystic cavern in the sacred hill. I asked Alok, and he wrote to me, the mystic cavern is the heart center in the middle of the chest, where in the depths dwells the psychic being. It is the seat of the divine presence in man. And Amal, in his literate way, it seems to be the loftiest part of the inner being, where the true soul, which is hidden in us, has its dwelling. So,
Mm.
very, very interesting. So, we have as if an old remembered dream come true. And here is our as if again. Sri Aurobindo says, doesn't say it was like that. It was an old remembered. No, it's as if. He's giving us a kind of feeling, as if an old remembered dream come true. What happens? Well, Savitri recognized in her prophetic mind the imperishable luster of that sky, the tremulous sweetness of that happy air, and covered from mind's view and life's approach, the mystic cavern in the sacred hill, and knew the dwelling of her secret soul. So that's where her secret soul is dwelling, and we'll carry on.
As if in some Elysian occult depth, truth's last retreat from thought's profaning touch, as if in a rock temple's solitude hid, God's refuge from an ignorant, worshipping world, it lay withdrawn even from life's inner sense, receding from the entangled heart's desire.
Oh, well, so first of all, we have this word Elysian, and that is a place of perfect bliss and ideal happiness. It's often uh, defined as the dwelling place of the blessed after death, but that's not here the sense. Here it's the sense of a state or a place of perfect bliss. As if, again, as if. You see, as if we had as if before, and we'll have it again, as if. Sri Aurobindo always says, very rarely he says, it is like this. He wants to take us within our soul to feel that experience. So, as if in some Elysian occult depth. I think it's occult, not occult, but you can
Okay.
look it up to be sure.
Okay.
As if, again, as if in a rock temple's solitude hid. Yet I have seen these rock temples and I have looked at them, and they do hold a very deep solitude. So it's as if, of course, as if in some Elysian, as if in a rock temple, which is God's refuge from an ignorant world. Interesting line, very powerful, because what does this ignorant, worshiping world mean to God? In
Mm,
fact, he has a refuge from it, like in this rock temple.
mm,
So, because the divine wants us not to be worshiping ignorantly, but with a true humility, and it lay withdrawn even from life's inner sense. It's truth's last retreat from this profaning touch of thought, and that's the key here. And it has receded even from the entangled heart's desire. Key word there is entangled. The heart is uh, generally entangled with love, with desire, with pain, with hope, all kinds of things. Now, what happens next?
A marvelous brooding twilight met the eyes, and a holy stillness held that voiceless space.
Oh, so beautiful. Huh? A marvelous brooding twilight met her look, and a holy stillness held that voiceless space. That stillness is so powerful that it could hold that voiceless space. Now, what happens?
An awful dimness wrapped the great rock doors, carved in the massive stone of matter's trance.
Yes, so we have to look at that carefully. Because the word awful is usually defined as something that inspires fear, something
Mm,
that is dreadful or appalling.
mm,
But here it's differently. It's like
awe.
awe-inspiring, yes, and awe-inspiring, but it's a dimness.
Mm,
And that dimness has wrapped the great rock doors that are carved in the massive stone of matter's trance. We've
mm,
studied matter many times,
mm,
so I won't go into that, but we know that matter is seemed to scientists inert, dead, and yet out of matter life has come. So Sri
mm,
Aurobindo turns the scientific community upside down.
mm.
So this matter is only in a trance.
Mm.
Now what happens? Oh, this is very beautiful.
Two golden serpents round the lintel curled, enveloping en, to
And
enveloping it with their pure and dreadful strength, looked out with wisdom's deep and luminous eyes.
so we see that the serpent,
What is a lintel? A lintel?
lintel is a structural member like a beam that spans an opening. So let's say between two columns or two piers, you
Mm-hmm.
have a lintel. That's a horizontal structural member, and
Okay.
that spans this opening. And
Oh,
we see many lintels in Japanese designs.
okay.
Two golden serpents round the lintel, so they're curving
Mm,
round, curling round the lintel, and they're enveloping it even with their pure and dreadful strength. They're looking out also with the deep eyes, luminous eyes of wisdom.
the serpents.
So here the power is the power that we normally associate with Kundalini, a positive serpent power. And they're looking out with the wisdom's deep and luminous eyes. Now there's also an eagle.
An eagle covered it with wide, conquering wings. Flames of self lost, immobile reverie. Doves crowded the grey, musing cornices, like sculptured postures of white bosomed peace.
Well, we have a lot to go through in these lines, so we'll take it slowly and maybe end today with that. Okay, we
This description, sometimes the gates of heaven are described as
very
it
often,
gives
yes.
it gives a it gives a sense of that sort of description.
And I have many uh, definitions from our friends.
Mm,
So we see that an eagle is covering it with wide, conquering wings.
mm,
Jumur has said that of all the creatures, the eagle is the one bird that can stare straight at the sun. Interesting.
mm,
It lives on the heights.
mm,
is its counterpart, the bird at its full power, with enormous strength, usually climbing straight into the sun or at the sun, and here into the abyss. Oh,
Mm,
it is a bird of tremendous power, the
mm,
king of birds. It is fearless and it is very, very strong. Instead
mm,
of the bird that leads you up to the sun,
mm,
it is the bird that leads you down into the darkness with the same force, with the same dynamism. There is a line in Savitri, of course, about the eagle, eagles of omniscience. Now, those eagles are the messengers of truth and light, and they
mm,
stoop down from the empire of the supramental sun,
mm,
fill the aspirant to truth with intuitive insights. This is Alok. And Nolini says, it is the image of the powerful soaring of the divine. Wow. Jumur, again, the eagle is a bird of force, of power. In the ultimate analysis, omniscience and omnipotence are the same. A power that is knowledge, knowledge that is power. The eagle is the all conquering power. Then we have these flames of self lost, immobile or immobile reverie. And immobile here, I mean, reverie here is kind of fanciful musing, dreamy meditation. And now doves crowded the gray musing cornices, and I'm running late. The cornices are actually horizontally projecting features that surmount a wall or another construction. They can divide it horizontally for compositional purposes, and they can actually make it like a crown to complete a building. And
okay.
we've seen those cornices on many of the great old buildings,
Mm,
like sculptured postures of white bosom peace. You got 2 minutes, so let's start reading. Humility.
yes. Herself was nothing. God alone was all. Yet God she knew, but yet God she knew not, but only knew he was. A sacred darkness brooded now within. The world was a deep darkness, great and nude. This void held more than all the teeming worlds. This blank felt more than all that time has borne. This dark knew, dumbly, immensely, the unknown. But all was formless, voiceless, infinite, as might a shadow walk in a shadowy scene, a small knot passing through a mightier knot, a night of person in a bare outline, crossing a fathomless, impersonal night. Silent she moved, empty and absolute. In, en- in endless time, her soul reached a wide end. The spaceless vast became her spirit's place. At last, a change approached. The emptiness broke. A wave rippled within. The world had stirred. Once more, her inner self life became her space. There was felt a blissful nearness to the goal. Heaven leaned low to kiss the sacred hill. The air trembled with passion and delight. A rose of splendor on a tree of dreams, the face of dawn out of mooned twilight grew. Day came, priest of a sacrifice of joy, into the worshipping silence of her world. He carried immortal luster as his robe, trailed heaven like a purple scarf, and wore, as his vermilion caste mark, a red sun. As if an old remembered dream come true, she recognized in her prophetic mind the imperishable luster of that sky, the tremulous sweetness of that happy air, and covered from mind's view and life's approach the mystic cavern and the sacred hill, and knew the dwelling of her secret soul. As if in some Elysian occult depth, truth's last retreat from thought's profaning touch, as if in a rock temple's solitude hid, God's refuge from an ignorant worshipping world. It lay withdrawn, even from life's inner sense, receding from the entangled heart's desire. A marvelous brooding twilight met the eyes, and a holy stillness held that voiceless space. An awful dimness wrapped the great rock doors, carved in the massive stone of matter's trance. Two golden serpents round the lintel curled, enveloping it with their pure and dreadful strength, looked out with wisdom's deep and luminous eyes. An eagle covered it with wide, conquering wings, flames of self lost, immobile reverie. Doves crowded the grey, musing cornices like sculptured postures of white bosomed peace.
Good reading. Very good.
Thank you.
See you
I'll
next.
see you next week. Thank you. Namaste. Be well.